Okay, well, welcome. This is Rebecca Warrington from rjmindbody.com, and we're here to move into the second day of our Crow Challenge. It's a 5-day Crow Challenge, and yesterday we concentrated on some exercises strengthening our wrists. We also one of the things I'll emphasize all week long is the importance that we don't just lean on, the 3 fingers on our hands, which we tend to do, but that our hands that we're pressing into it's where the knuckles are. So we have 3 knuckles here, and it's where the 3rd knuckle is, down by the pad of the hand. So the index finger and the thumb, that they press into the ground. The tendency is to lean on the outer edges. So we want to make sure eventually that becomes second nature. Also, when your fingers are spread in your downward dog or your all fours position, or anything we do with our hands on the floor, particularly with the crow, that our index finger is pointing directly forward, so it's at what we call 12 o'clock. Now, if that doesn't work for you, your shoulders what that does is it opens the shoulders up. It's like rotates those shoulders. If it isn't, then try the middle finger. But other than that, either one. But the most people, I recommend the index finger is at 12 o'clock. Okay, so we'll go through this. And the purpose behind that is so that your shoulders are not, that they're not rotated in, that they're open, they're opened, and that your upper back is broad. This protects you from actually causing any kind of, also protecting you against injuries, shoulder injuries. So we're going to continue on. Today we're actually going to do the crow, but just a very mild version of it, not too long, but a lot of preparation. So 3 things: hip openers, because the shape of the crow is where your legs are open. You're doing a squat. Wrist strengtheners, another wrist strengthener I'm going to do today, arm strengtheners, and core. I think I got everything. It's actually an all-body strengthener, and that's what these arm balances are. And the crow is the foundational arm balance. So it's the very first one. Once you get that, the other ones are a little bit much easier, in other words. But you always start with the crow. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to just take a moment here and then I'll give you the mantra for the day in just a moment. So sitting up nice and tall, taking a few deep breaths, connecting with the breaths. It's so great to be back, actually. I keep saying that, but it is. I had a good sleep last night. So breathing in and out. Feeling the breath as it lifts up, so that whole idea of the prana as your life force lifts, and the apana as you exhale, as the life force draws downward. Those 2 work together in harmony to create this balance, ideal balance in how you're going to feel today on all levels. So that's Ujjayi breath is really important in the crow pose, because you'll see as we go through the week. And don't worry if you don't master the crow. It does take a long time. It doesn't just take 5 days, but I will interweave the crow throughout the next few months, so that eventually you will get it if you don't get it this week. So a few more breaths in. And the mantra today is about, I have the courage to try new things. Crow pose, because it's an arm balance, we feel a little fearful, because you're going to feel like you will fall over, or you won't be able to do it. So, and then instead of pushing the fear away, you face it head on. Fear is just fear, and by facing it head on, that's a courageous act. That brings up courage, if that makes sense. So you're fearful, but then by facing your fear, you're courageous. That makes any sense to you. So one more deep breath in, and as you breathe out, that's either, there's two options, you stay in your cross-legged or you come onto your knees. I sit on my pillow, but you can also take a block and place it between the legs and sit on it. If you're a person who finds it really difficult to sit on your heels because it hurts the tops of your feet, then sit on something. Sit on a cushion. If you have blocks, sit on a block, because I actually always sit on the blocks when I'm doing classes and I don't have a cushion. Otherwise, cross-legged. Take your arms, reach them up to the sky. Now, if you cannot keep your arms reaching up, for whatever reason, it's bothering your shoulders, then bend into cactus arms. We're concentrating mainly on the wrists at this point. So take your hands, make a fist, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, flex the hands, and then fist, flex, fist. Now, as you do this, soften the shoulders down, make sure they're not creeping up to your ears, which they will, because this is an odd position to be in. Stretching out and strengthening the ligaments in your wrists. One more time, and then just float them down to your thighs. Do a little shoulder roll back, and then forward. If anything gets to be too much, do half of what I'm doing or a quarter of what I'm doing. Now bring your hands back up. The clapping, the thing we did yesterday, if you were here yesterday, clap the hands. Clap it's one hand clap. Just keep clapping. By the end of the week, this might actually get much easier. Clap, clap, clap. Soften the shoulders down. You don't have to do as many as I'm doing. Just you just do as much as you can and then release down. And the little shoulder rolls. This is upper arm work we're doing as well as the wrists. And then let's just take your head to the right, just to stretch out that left shoulder. And then to the left. And then let's come off of our seat. Let's come directly into a squat, but with the heels up. So your knees are open, just like this is the shape of our crow. We won't do the crow yet. It's just getting ourselves into a position of comfort in this pose. Drop your head. Oh, I know what I forgot. I'll come back to it. And then let your head drop, peek between your legs. And take a few moments here. If you can drop the heels down, that's fine. So if you want to do it with the heels down, I won't do it today. But let's just do our squats. And then let's straighten the legs. Feet are forward, hip distance apart. Let's just take a few breaths here, little waves from side to side, stretching out the backs of those legs. Breathing in, maybe opposite hand to opposite elbow. Always do this every class. It's necessary. Stretching out the backs of those legs, the hamstrings. Whatever feels just right for you today. Even if you don't have to follow me. Have the courage to do your thing, as opposed to wondering, well, is this right? Well, if your body feels good, then do it. Don't worry about it. And then from here, I want you to walk your hands forward. And now either coming into your downward dog, or some of us are in our extended child's pose with the arms reaching forward. Remember the hands. Press into that knuckle of the thumb and the index finger, and just peek and see, where is your index finger? Is it pointing forward? And again, you have an option of the middle finger
pointing forward if that works better for you, where it's a little bit less of a rotation of your shoulder. Either one, whatever feels right for you. And then let's take a few breaths here, simply holding this for a moment. Connecting with the ground. Do you feel that thumb pressing in to the ground? Do you feel it connecting? It wants to lift up, as does the index finger. They get a little bit lazy. And take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lower the knees to the ground, press back, and let your elbows just soften down into your child's pose. Little circles of the wrists to loosen up the wrists. And then inhale back into your tabletop. Let's do a few little cats and cows. With the cats and cows, the most important thing to concentrate right now, take a peek at your hands. Where are they? I will remind you every time we do this, anything with your hands resting on the ground. So cat and cows, exhaling, rounding through the spine, inhaling, opening up through the heart, exhaling, rounding, stretching through that middle back. And then inhaling back into your tabletop. Let's exhale, curl the toes under either your extended child's pose simply by taking your arms forward or downward dog. In your downward dog now, I want you to bend your knees, come onto your toes as if you're about to leap forward. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, straightening those legs or keeping those knees bent, but pressing the heels towards the ground. Then bend again. Take a breath in and take a breath out, straighten. Inhaling, bending, and exhaling, straightening. If you're in your extended child's pose, you're doing it just on your hands and knees, the same thing. You're just pressing forward and then pressing back. One more bend and look forward, take a breath in, and maybe have the courage to walk, to leap forward or walk. Forward and come to the front of the mat, forward bend. Again, little sways from side to side, bending and straightening those knees, or keeping the knees bent and just wiggling your hips from side to side, loosening up those hip joints. Oh, lots of hip work this week, back work, core work, shoulders, lots of things. Then circle your wrists, loosen up those wrists, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, I want you to roll up one vertebra at a time. And once you get to the top, take your shoulders, roll them back, and I want you to bring your arms in cactus shape, into the cactus shape. Palms facing one another, okay? And what we're going to do is you're going to open the knees a little bit wider than your hips and bring the elbows in. This is what I was going to do on the ground, but I forgot. Elbows in, round through the spine. It's actually better in this position. And then open the elbows back and open up the chest. Forward, cat and cow shapes here. Inhaling, opening, exhaling, forward. Inhaling, opening. And as you exhale, make sure the belly pulls in. Pull up through the pelvic floor. Then inhale, relax the tummy. And then exhale, forward. Inhale, open. Exhaling, forward. Whew. One more time. I know your arms are probably screaming right now. Just one more, and then release the arms down. Little shakes of the arms. And then let's do a set of sun salutation. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling halfway. Pressing into the shins, or some of us are able to now touch the ground with our fingers and straighten our legs. Exhaling, stepping back, downward dog. Let's do a knees, chest, chin here. So first, let's inhale into your plank. Knees and we'll drop the knees down in a moment. Drop the knees down, hinge forward, chest down, chin down, hold, and then inhale, slide forward, coming into a cobra or sliding your hands slightly forward into Sphinx, where that's a little bit gentler on your shoulders. Or lift your elbows off the ground, but keep them squeezing into your rib cage. Think of the shape of that crow pose. When we do the crow today, you'll start to, your body will begin to kind of understand what the shape feels like. Press back through a child's pose, through, and then either stay in that or exhale, downward dog. Bending the knees as if you're going to leap with freedom, as if you're a child here. There's no restrictions. They don't usually have all these physical limitations, right? They're free as birds, little ones. So take a breath in, and as you breathe out, look forward and jump forward, even if it's just halfway, or walk. Forward fold. So I hadn't done any yoga for 2 days. I did a Saturday class, and I really feel it today. Bending, softening the knees, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, reach your arms up to the sky, and then exhale, hands to heart. Let's inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Let's exhale into your forward bend. Let's step your right foot back, lower your right knee down. Bring your arms inside your left leg. Now we've done this many times before, but this is the shape, the left leg, this is a lizard, is the shape, half of the shape of the crow. What I want you to do is press that knee into your left shoulder. Now you have an option here. If you want to go into a deeper hip flexor stretch, you can come onto your forearm, one forearm, two forearms, on blocks, use blocks instead, or not. Doesn't matter. This is the shape. And squeeze that left knee into your left shoulder. You find that what you're able to do at this point. And then let's curl the back toes under, let's step back into your downward dog or extended child's pose. Inhaling into your plank. One of the core strengtheners, we'll do other ones this week as well. Knees down, hinge forward, chest down, chin down, pause. Inhaling, float forward and find where to place your hands. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, slide the hands next to your chest, lift back up through your child's pose. So this is the extended one. And the exhaling downward dog for those that are doing a downward dog. Bend the knees, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you can either walk or take the courage, use your courage to help you float forward. Forward fold. Inhaling halfway, either fingertips on the ground or on your shins. And then exhaling, forward bend, and inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Whew. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. This time, step your left foot back. Lower your left knee down. Bring your hands inside that right leg. Make sure, try and see if you can keep that right foot parallel, because think about the shape of your crow pose. Arms either straight or come down, and then a block or on a block. Opening up your hip joint, playing here for a moment, exploring What's happening here? How do you feel? How does this feel to you? And then walk your hands back up. Curl the back toes under, step back into your downward dog. And now we're going to lower the knees to the ground. Give yourself a pause here in your child's pose. Let your knees come together in this child's pose, concentrating on targeting the lower back, not the inner thighs. Let your head rest on the ground, a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. And let's inhale into your tabletop. Now, we're going to do, there's two options here. First, the most important thing is that we get our hands correct. Press into that pad of that left thumb. Index finger, find which finger is at the 12 o'clock point of your hand, index or middle finger. Once that's set, you might stay here on all fours and do this knee to nose on your all fours, and then we're going to go to the elbow and in and across. You can do that on your hands and knees, or if you want a little bit more and you're able to do it from downward dog, do downward dog. It's hard to do in downward dog. That's why I always show two options. I'm going to teach from downward dog, but please feel free to stay in all fours. You can do it just as well on all fours. Inhale your right leg up to the sky. That's for downward dog. It's behind you for hands and knees. Bring your right knee in toward and nose to knee. Round up like a little cat. Inhale, reach your right leg back, and then exhale. This time bring your right knee to the outside of that right elbow. I know. Inhaling, right leg up, and then exhale, cross it. Now this is even tougher. Cross that right knee towards your left elbow. This is an oblique strengthener. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Woo. Lower that right foot down. Just come onto your knees for a second or up and do a little circles with your wrist. Interlace them. Yeah? Little stretches and then shake them out, shake them out. They're okay, they're not gonna fall apart. If you have wrist injuries, then you do less of this. You do half of what I do, a quarter of what I do, okay? Hands underneath some of us will stay here. Get your hands prepared first in the correct position. Now either hands and knees or downward dog. Bring your right foot in towards that left foot for the downward dog version. Inhale your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Round up like a little cat. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale to the outside of that left knee. See if you can touch it. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale now to cross and kiss that left leg to your right elbow. Ooh, I'm shaking too. Inhale, lift that left leg up, lower your left leg down, and take a pause. Woo. That's only a few. Some of my classes I teach multiple versions. You do it at least 3 or 4 times. So it gets the heart rate up. We'll be practicing that one as well, because that builds up the abdominal strength. Okay. Curl the toes under. Now we're on our hands and knees and we're opening up. We're now in our crow pose. Your knees are wide, feet not necessarily touching the inner edges, close. Now, all we're going to do here, unless you are a crow person, you're going to squeeze those legs into your upper arms and press your upper arms into those knees. Look forward. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just come onto the toes. And some of us, if you can pick one toe up and keep the other toe down, maybe then alternate. If you can come into a crow with both feet up, do that. But if you can't yet, don't worry about it. This is all preparation. So you can do a little rock and roll, just gaining your confidence as opposed to going straight into it. And if you do fall, the best thing to do is always put a cushion in front of your head or a blanket. And then let's just get used to this feeling. This is a shape we'll be in for the rest of the week. Well, not the whole time, but. And then let's come out of the crow if you're in the crow and straighten the legs and release all that tension built up in the backs of those legs. Let the knees soften here. Arm balances, get any type of balance, but particularly arm balances get your heart rate up really fast because you're using major muscles, which require a lot of blood from your heart. So your heartbeat, your heart rate goes up. Come onto your knees, swing your legs around, slide your bottom to your heels and lower yourself on your back. Oh, nice to lay down, huh? To lie down. Hug your knees into your chest, little rocks and rolls, massaging that lower back. And then open the arms out to the sides. Take your knees and drop them to the left and turn your gaze to the right. The goal is not necessarily to reach the crow by Friday, it's to get as close to it. But you might get your toe up for a second, and that's an achievement. Or just being able to stay in that shape of a crow, build up the strength in your arms is another achievement. It's all very personal, this achievement, this challenge. Hug your knees into your chest, bring your forehead to your knees, and then let's drop the knees to the right. I have to say, the crow gets my adrenaline pumping, and it gives me a lot of really, I would say, positive energy. I feel really good after it because I think the muscles we're working, especially the solar plexus, which is just helping us boost our confidence and self-esteem, just makes us feel better. It's those good feeling hormones. Hug your knees into your chest, then extend your left leg to the left corner of the mat, right to the right. Settle into your Shavasana, your resting pose. So if this is your first time taking this class, or any yoga class, it's just simply resting for the next 2 to 5 minutes. I come out of my yoga, I come out of the Shavasana and I seal the practice, but feel free to just turn off the video and rest for the 2 to 5 minutes. And one of the most important poses is the Shavasana. Your body gets a chance, an opportunity to absorb everything that's been done to it. And it just enhances and deepens your practice. So I'll come up and seal the practice. As I take my hands in front of my heart and bow my head to my hands in this gesture of gratitude, compassion, love, courage. I have the courage to try new things. So this is the yoga, the crow challenge is one thing, but today go out and do something different. It doesn't have to be a major challenge, it could be something that you haven't done before. Courage builds our self-esteem and our confidence. It doesn't just come to us. We can't wait for confidence to happen to us. We build it from going out and doing different things. Have a lovely day, everyone. Namaste. I'll see you tomorrow.